Today I'm going to be doing a blind reaction to some embarrassing stories. I have never read these before, but I'm excited and I'm going to try to rate them from 1 to 10 on a scale of how embarrassing they are. Let's get started. The worst day of my life. I remember throwing up in the middle of the hallway, and I think I threw up on some people. There was this orange-haired girl who came up and tried to help me. I was in middle school, and there was people all around me. It was really embarrassing, and I still remember it today. On the scale of very embarrassing, I think everyone has had some type of middle school embarrassing story where they've thrown up or done something embarrassing that they wish they hadn't. There could be a lot worse out there, so I'm gonna rate this a 2.5 on 10. Really, it's not that embarrassing. The next one. I let my boyfriend go down on me and it didn't end well. So I, 18 female, was having a fun moment with my boyfriend, and before it started, we wanted to do some foreplay. He wanted to go down on me, but I refused, as I was very self-conscious. But he kept begging, so I let him. He went down and came back up and said he can't, so I asked him why. He told me he couldn't do it because it smelled bad. I got so embarrassed and didn't know what to do. How do I make it smell good? Please give me some advice. This one is embarrassing. Nobody wants to be told that they cannot do stuff because they don't smell good or something like this. But is it like really embarrassing? I feel like stuff like that can be solved with just like female hygiene stuff. So I'll give that 3.5, maybe a 4. Okay, next one. The door wasn't locked, my dude, or closed. I stopped at a gas station today to use the bathroom, only of course the girls' bathroom was closed due to issues. But men's bathrooms have toilets, so I went through my checklist. Is the door closed? It wasn't, so I assumed nobody was there, and immediately regretted opening the door. It was already open because a trucker was doing his number 2 business. We awkwardly stared eye to eyes. He mumbled the door was not locked. I thought, no duh, and immediately blushed and autistic-like went blank face nonverbal. And actually closed the door for him, making sure it was shut. Then awkwardly left blushing and screaming inside, overthinking and blaming me and him. Me for not knocking and him for not making sure the door was shut. Then I got back in my car, paid for my gas, and left. That's my overall awkward, embarrassing moment of the day. I would hope I would never see that person again in my life. I do not want to be making eye contact with anyone while they're doing their business or I'm doing my business, so that is pretty embarrassing. Oh, what do you even do in that scenario? That's pretty bad. I give this a 6 or a 6.5 on 10 because that's like super awkward. I would feel horrible and would want to leave immediately. Okay, next one. I, 19 female, recently convinced my grandpa to let my son, boyfriend, 20 male, let's call him C, and I rent the house I grew up in. It's old, so it needs work, and my sister, 25, just moved out. So my dad, 45, there's a lot of ages and people going on right now. So my dad, 45, just came over yesterday to get some of the bigger items for my sister since he has a truck, and she was also supposed to come over. However, I talked to her and she ended up not coming over. So now 2 to 3 hours had passed and C and I were in the mood. We didn't have our son because he was with his grandma, and so we had intercourse in the living room. Right when he finished, we heard a knock. We waited and a second and there was the door being unlocked, and we ran to our room. I knocked over a bunch of stuff and dropped my vibrator on. Then we heard my dad say, "What the just happened?" I assume he evaluated the scene and walked out because when we walked out he was gone and I haven't spoke to him since, so yeah. Okay. This one pretty much takes the cake on the ones that we've read so far. That is super embarrassing. I don't even know This one for me gets like an 8.5 or 9 on 10 because I am so sorry that happened to you. My advice to you is get new locks and deadbolt the door. Last one we're gonna do, letting it all hang out at work unintentionally. I work in a corporate office setting, business casual. For months, I have been wearing some gray slacks as my go-to pants. Don't judge me, but for most of my life, I've simply elected to not wear underwear. I find it much more comfortable. In work, out of work, 7 days a week, whatever, it doesn't matter. I just throw on pants or shorts and go about my day. Okay. I did this configuration for months in the office. I never thought a single thing about it. Well, I was randomly in the work bathroom washing my hands at the sink, and for whatever reason, I happened to look in the mirror and could see plain as day the outline of through my gray pants. So overall, for literally months now, I have been walking around the office basically with my hanging out, and no one said a single thing to me. When someone decides to not wear underwear, I have so many questions. Why did you decide not to wear underwear? Why did you think it was a good idea to not wear it at work? Anyways, if you do that, if that's your situation, these are potential things that I guess could happen. You're taking a risk, buddy, especially since it is in a work setting. I give that an 8 on 10, and I hope it doesn't happen to me, but then again, it wouldn't because I wear my underwear. Okay, I hope you like these. Thanks for listening. See you in the next one.